Hello everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day, and today I would like to share with you guys my final thoughts on the Kunwu Knives Chad. This is going to have a lot of mixed feelings in it. Right off the bat, do I recommend it? I only recommend it to genuine enthusiasts. This is not a beginner person's knife. This is not something you should gift to somebody who is not used to this style of open and closing mechanism, the way that you interact with the knife. This is running on something quite similar to an Axis lock style knife. It has Omega springs, and we'll get into that. That is going to be the majority of this review, talking about those Omega springs and the action that lends to the overall knife. So I got this directly off of Kunwu's website, and this is the DLC Reverse Tux Chad. So it's the blade, the hardware, the actual liners on the inside, and pivot, and then the actual little slide there. Where is the price? Oh, here it is. I actually have their website pulled up on my laptop over here off to the side. This thing was expensive, and while there is so much to love about the quality and the fit and finish of this thing and the materials that they're using, it is really good stuff. It really is. It's $279 after taxes and shipping. You're looking about like $300, $310 or something like that. This comes with a lot of goodies too. I don't have those in front of me right now, but I do have the unboxing available. Posted it a couple, let's say maybe like a week or so ago. I don't know, but it's on my channel. You guys go check it out. Unfortunately, this is sold out. So, and it is unfortunately, because I know a lot of people wanted to get their hands on this. I was fortunate enough to be at the right time in the right place to get this guy. So one of the coolest things about this knife is the blade material that they're using. I've never heard of it before. It has insane edge retention, and it's some pretty hard stuff. It's called PM60, and their HRC here is recorded from 66 to 69. That is insane, absolutely ridiculous. And you know what? I reprofiled it and I sharpened it, and it is sick. It is absolutely insane. This, kid you not, can run circles around every single knife in my collection. There is nothing like this in my collection, which is insane. But it is, I would say like medium stock thickness. It's nothing crazy. It comes to a relatively thin edge. Could be a little bit thinner, but I suppose I understand why it's not super thin or maybe a hollow grind or anything crazy like that. It is flat ground. Other materials that they're using, beautiful diamond texture titanium. Has some micro milling right there, here on the sides, at the bottom, but then it's left plain on the back, and then some more texturing falling up there. The studs are titanium. They are anodized blue to match the pocket clip, which is beautiful. The retention in the pocket, and there's not a flat spot, unfortunately, but this is an ambidextrous styled knife, and you can actually flip it to the other side. So lefties, it's awesome. Definitely. This also comes with 2 wire pocket clips, which is probably going to be a little bit more preferable if you're really going to be using this a lot and taking in and out of your pocket, because this texturing, while it is comfortable to the hand, very grippy, very comfortable, not sharp. This thing is just so well finished. But with the retention of this pocket clip, yeah, this is probably gonna tear up your pants a good bit. So I would say if they come out with more and you get this and you're actually going to use it a lot, then just put one of the wire pocket clips on it. You know, thank yourself for it for sure. So here you have a closed pivot. This is a D-shaped pivot. It's captured. It's wonderful. This is extremely easy to disassemble and take apart after you've done it like 4 times. So not for beginners, definitely not. There are a lot of small little parts, and the Omega springs under tension will go flying into a neighboring universe. So that's cool, that's great. Again, do I recommend it to enthusiasts and people that know their way around an Axis style locking knife? Yeah, sure, this thing is freaking sweet. But to a novice, no, not really. Let's do some size comparisons. We'll get the weight. This thing is definitely hefty, but it's it feels pretty darn nice in hand. So here we have Spyderco PM2. It's pretty much the same exact length as that. Here we have the Wii Praxis. So the Wii Praxis is larger than that. Demco 8020.5. The F5.5. These guys are just tiny in comparison. This is a full-size plus knife, honestly. 2 more here. Spyderco Native 5. And a little benchmark buyout. So hopefully that helps you guys get a good visual representation of what this guy is all about. It is pretty darn big. Let's get the weight on this. Can't remember what it was. I just knew it was hefty. Almost 5 ounces, 4.9. So yeah, it's not a pocket brick, but it's definitely almost there. Yeah, this isn't gonna be something that you keep in like basketball shorts or anything light duty like that, nor slacks either, because it'll probably just yank those right off of your waist if you're not wearing a tight enough belt. This is going to be probably the best with like jeans or just casual type of pants. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about is that while so many channels have been ranting and raving about this knife, I don't really think there's been anybody that's actually harped on the weakness of the Omega springs. I did make some content on my Instagram, and I know I don't have a significant amount of people on my Instagram, but I did make some content kind of sharing my thoughts on the Omega springs and what could be done to make the Omega springs fit the overall knife. Because, like, hear me out, you have incredibly super special, super high edge retention, hardness, whatever blade material. You have beautifully milled titanium. Everything is super heavy duty, and just it feels like what the price would suggest, if not more. It feels like a very premium item. It definitely does. Every little bit about this thing is just excellent, absolutely wonderful. But the thing that absolutely flops is the weakness of the Omega springs. The Omega springs that they're using in here do not deserve to be anywhere near the rest of this beautifulness right here. It doesn't. And honestly, it kills it for me. It ruins it for me. A lot of other people who may not enjoy the action of the Demco 8020.5 because of its floppiness. And now, yes, the Chad is using Omega springs. This is a coil spring with inside the shark lock itself. The way that you interact with the knife is quite similar. You don't have a traditional detent. You have kind of this floppy spring action, right? Where at a certain point, it can flop out like that. And this is a very clean, very well tuned, not hard use knife. And if I don't give it some juice, it won't come out all the way. And this also has bearings. They're not like skips or anything fancy. They're the stock bearings, but again, very clean, not hard use, very, very well maintained knife right here. And I gotta give it a good bit of juice to get it out, right? So not a lot of people are down with that. They like something that's a whole lot snappier. For example, and I actually have 2 excellent examples of snappy overseas made knives. Here we'll start with the C&B Made Knives Predator. This is probably the king of budget Chinese Omega Spring knife, right? It says 14C28N blade material, micarta for the scales, and some of the buffest Omega Springs I have ever experienced, and I know a lot of other people would agree with that. Once you've handled one of these, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It is night and day difference. These Omega Springs should be on a knife like this. Unfortunately, they're not. This is a $70 knife about, or just right around there. Excellent, highly recommendable. This recently reviewed. This is a free tiger knife, just under $30. The springs on here should be on this, but they're a different size. They don't really fit properly without shooting into a different dimension. They don't sit properly at all. I tried it, it doesn't work. But the strength of the Omega Springs on this knife is absolutely comical and quite charming, honestly. This is a very fun knife to mess around with. The springs on here are so overpowered in comparison to the rest of this knife. You have thin stock, it feels very lightweight, it's a budget knife, right? It's super cheap, but it's executed extremely well and super enjoyable. Studs are comfortable. The actual slide itself is extremely comfortable too, has a little bit of grip, but domed at the top. Here you have a whole lot of extra surface area for your index and your thumb, and this is running on bearings. So are the other two Chinese made knives. I think that due to the weight of the blade, the tolerances within the pivot, and the smoothness of the nylon cage ceramic bearings, because of those things, the Omega Springs that would work just fine on really any other knife, because of those factors, it makes the action extremely light on this. The thing is that you hear that rattle? Yeah, I'm just not the biggest fan of that. It's quite a turnoff for me. Unfortunately, I am actually going to be extending the sale opportunity to a longtime viewer of the channel. I'm gonna see if this individual is still interested in this, so we'll talk. I'm pretty sure I have you on Instagram if you're watching this or not, but if you're not interested, for the rest of you, you'll probably see this on NAFSA, and it's probably going to go like that, because I know for a fact this is a very sought after knife. And the reason being is because this is sick. This is absolutely awesome. It's just that the Omega Springs are not for me. Not on this knife. On this, all day, every day. On this, yeah, for sure. Even on my bug out. These are aftermarket Omega Springs in here. They're excellent. They work just fine. But because that has washers, this has bearings, the tolerance differences and things like that. Now, talking about lockup, this is probably one of the most solid locking up Axis style locking knives that I have. Up and down, there's nothing there. Side to side, rock solid. Movement within the pivot, absolutely nothing. There is nothing. This is genuinely incredible. It's just that it's not for me. And the reason why I wouldn't recommend this to a beginner or a novice is because that is honestly borderline unsafe. So that's why I recommend this to somebody who is a long-time knife enthusiast, they know what they're getting into, and they understand the Omega Springs that come on here. They're pretty freaking light. And you know what? I even put some stronger Omega Springs in here. I have a old Sativia knife that I basically use for parts at this point. The springs on that I put in here, they barely fit, but they're significantly bigger than the stock Omega Springs that are in here. Tell me why. It probably only increased the strength by like 2%. It's not much. It really isn't much, but it's noticeable, I guess. Even still, it's just, I shouldn't really be able to do that. Like, yeah, if I had more camera space, I mean, that's just, yeah, it's not for me. And how often, like, let's be realistic, how often are you gonna find yourself in a situation where that's gonna happen? It's not gonna happen. But just me personally, it's not for me. It's a huge turn off. The lack of strength and tension from those omega springs, it's not meant to be on this knife. It really isn't, in my opinion. But I know a lot of other people out there will definitely still enjoy many aspects of this knife. The blade material, ridiculous, just absolutely insane and incredible. To sharpen it, it probably took me 2-3 times the effort that it took to sharpen S90V, for example, some well heat treated S90V. So I don't know if you out there have a good bit of experience sharpening. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have way more sharpening experience than I do, but this took me a long time to sharpen, to get right, and it's pretty good to go. I'm very happy with what I was able to accomplish in my time with this, and I'm thankful to have been able to experience it. I will be getting another Kunwu knife. I don't know what, I don't know when, but I want more from this brand, just not their access style locking knives. I'll get something that is a frame lock or an inset liner lock, but not this. I'm gonna stay away from these until I know for a fact that they've beefed up their omega springs or tuned something somehow to get it to where it's just a little bit more fitting for this, because what's on here, it's not. But besides that, the action, the lockup, it's pretty darn good. How it feels in hand, back here, up there, incredible. There's some light jimping, but it's merely decorative, honestly. I didn't need to be there, but it's there. That's cool. The studs, the placement, the shape of them, excellent. Absolutely wonderful, super comfortable. Every bit of this knife is absolutely incredible and comfortable. The only gripe, the only downside that absolutely kills it for me is those omega springs, and that's really it. So that is completely 100% just my personal preference on blade tension with the springs and how everything kind of functions, right? So that's just gonna be me. This is a incredible build for sure. The tolerances are there, the value is there, absolutely. Oh my gosh, it's there for sure. That's it. Omega springs, omega springs, omega springs. I can only say it so many times. I know my one video is not gonna change squat. I know a lot of people out there are probably not gonna agree with me, but it is what it is. This is my personal experience. I will be extending a sale offer to an individual out there. You know who you are, and if it's not the right time, then I'll just end up putting it on NAF sale. So maybe I can get something else from Kunwu. That'd be pretty cool. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, go ahead and leave a like down below. If you are subscribed, I most definitely appreciate all you guys' support and patience, of course. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing, because I have plenty more videos coming you guys this way. And with that being said, have a wonderful rest of your day.